Okay, so welcome to Homebrew 101, and we're going to learn how to make a blonde ale today. First thing, the ingredients that we have, I've got 7 pounds of light dry malt extract. I've got a half a pound of crystal 20 Loveland grain. I've got 1 ounce of Willamette hops. And I've got a yeast package for to start the fermentation. Now the way we do this today is we're going to start by getting about 1.5 gallons of water up to 165 degrees. We're going to then take this grain and we're going to put it in this grain bag. And so we'll go ahead and do that. It's going to make a little bit of a mess here as the flakes come out of it. And now I'm going to take this once my water gets up to 165 degrees, and I'm going to put that, and I'm just going to tea bag it in that water. That's going to extract the flavor, this nice caramel flavor out of these grains, and it's going to convert the starch to sugar. And that'll be the base, and then we'll take that, we'll dump that into another bucket, and we'll get that almost to a boil, and we will mix in the dry malt extract. At that point, we'll boil for an hour with the hops in the boil, and we should come up with what will, at some point, be beer. Okay, so I've got this water now up to 165 degrees. So I'm going to turn out the flame, and I'm now going to take my bag of grains, and I'm just going to soak them in here. And we're going to soak these for about half an hour. And every once in a while, I'm just going to tea bag this a little bit just to make sure that the grains are getting all nicely moistened and evenly in the heat. I'm going to take this off of the burner now while we let that sit. And I'm going to put my larger pot on here. And this has got 5 gallons of water in it. We're going to start to get this going because this is going to take a while to get it going. Okay. So we've got this up to about 190 degrees. So I'm going to turn this down to just a bare flame for a moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix in this dry malt extract before it boils. So we'll start by just putting all of this dry malt extract in the pot. And, oh boy, what a mess. And it is a mess. And it's an awful lot of powder, which you will see. In fact, I can't even get it all in there to start with. I've already got a mess going. But what we're going to do now is we're going to mix this dry malt extract into this bucket of water. And as you can see, it's an awful lot of dry malt extract that's going in here. And it's thick and it's ugly. But so that's what we're going to do now, is mix this all in, and once we get it all in, then we'll get it to boiling again. Okay, we've now got a boil going here, so I'm going to drop in 1 ounce of Willamette hops, and we're going to boil those in this wort for about an hour. Now the trick here is to keep it from boiling over, especially once we've added the hops, because they tend to float, and they'll all fall out if we make a mess here. Okay. Talk to you at the next
here we are. We've got a nice, kind of a nice rolling boil going. It's been boiling like this for about half an hour. We've got a number of or a little bit of water left to put in it from the grains that we soaked earlier. because I got a little too much water. But it'll all boil down in a little bit. I'll put the probably quarter gallon that's left in the other pot in there real soon, and we're getting there. Okay, so now we're going to put the wort chiller into the kettle, and we're going to let it boil to get it sterilized for about 15 minutes. So we've got our beer brewed. I've got this wort chiller in here, and I'm trying to chill the wort as fast as I can to bring it down from 212 degrees boiling down to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the temperature we want it at for fermentation. In here, so we're going to take this wort, we're going to pour it through a screen to try and catch some of the junk that's in here. What's wrong? Oh. But we're going to pour this in here and aerate it real good and kind of catch some of this junk that's in here. Bubbles. Oh, it's kind of way full. Might have to set this up on a... Anyway, what we're doing here now is just kind of straining out the hops. They're in here. And then we'll have to put a bucket over it. Well, I left out a few steps in the video on brew day, but after we strained out a few of the hops, and of course we had a foaming mess right there, but after we strained out those hops, we poured in the dry yeast, and we sealed it up, and we put a airlock on the top, and we let it ferment for 7 days. After that, we racked it into another container, and we let it sit for another 7 days. And at that point, I actually filtered this beer, and I put it in the keg. It's now March 18th. We brewed this on February 26th. And here is the results and the fruit of all our effort. A beautiful blonde ale. Cheers. Wow, that's good.